Hello and welcome back to the channel, here for yet another league race, this time in the CSGB F2 league and division, and we're at Monza today. Just a disclaimer before we get into this race happened about 2 weeks ago at the time of recording this voiceover for it, so as you will know, I do these in one take, so my memory isn't the best on what happened. Also, once again, I apologise for not uploading this last Friday as I said I would. I've had a couple of things going on that I needed to get sorted, but we should be back on the grind now. You can see at the end of my first lap, a 1:19 point something or other. I missed the lap time there, but it's enough for a time that you'll see in a bit. There we go, P2 at the moment, a 1:19.5. Of course, you know, trying to do the best I can every time, just as it's just more fun, isn't it? You know, do your best. Puts less pressure on you. If you don't expect anything major, then you're not putting expectation on yourself. Therefore, you should get better results, or that's the hope anyway. We're coming now up to start the second lap of the session. So he was getting the engine turned up, returning into the parabolica, and then back on the power nice and early to now come down towards the start finish straight. Coming all the way down to turn 1 is a very long run here at Monza. Fall very hard on the brakes. Yeah, I broke very early on my first one, I remember. But there you can see I broke a little bit too late, so we lost a little bit of time there. You can see as well from the movement on the steering wheel, lost the back end just ever so slightly. I don't think you saw any real difference in the car and how it was behaving, but if you watch the wheel there you would see the back end not exactly settling. Coming in now to turns 4 and 5, really cautious not to cut through there as well. It's a lap gone, and with how I do these qualifying sessions that would have been it for qualifying. But we continue down route through turns 6 and 7. Heading down towards the parabolic, yeah, Ascari is next up. Under the old banking, arc over a little bit of a crest, and then through Ascari. He's fourth gear a little bit just to settle the car, and of course using the exit curb, but lifting off, otherwise you're going to spin. Now heading down towards the parabolica this time. You can see it was a purple sector too. I felt like I really hooked up that middle sector in terms of being right on the limit there, so very nearly running wide at the final corner. That would have been lap gone, but we do keep it on the track and across the line. It's only enough for P2, and we only found a 10th in the end there, so that lap was right on the edge. You can see at the end of the session it is only enough for P4. My teammate down in P10, that is of course Anton. My championship rival James Dovey down in P12, and then his teammate Zam, they're up in P2. Of course, in the constructors it is Ferrari versus Williams. So, you know, me and Anton, we need to do the best we can in order to secure that as quickly as possible, as well as try and get me the driver's title, which of course is a completely different challenge in itself. Sorting out the fuel loads and then the strategy as well. One stop is quite easy to do here, just going soft to medium. As I know, wait for the 5 red lights to appear. P4 on the grid, where we're going to end up in 27 laps time. You can see that we initially get a really good start. Like, my initial launch was actually better than all of the top 3. Then when it came to applying the power, wheel spin got me. And you see Started with Liam into the first corner. I didn't really know what I was doing. I'm not gonna lie, you know, just trying to keep a position there, which we did end up losing in the end, of course. A little bit blocked by Podaragos, but of course, nothing he did wrong. Just how turn, like, early stages goes. Heading up into turn 4 now, we did get back past Liam, who he thankfully backs out of that one, so I ran a little bit deep. That could have been my shunt, but some actually spun in the background there. I completely forgot about that. And with a safety car on lap 1. So we have held position on the first lap, which of course always helps massively. Something I really struggled to do when getting off the line. You'll see a replay of the start now. You can see that bright red Ferrari there on that second row. You can see we do move first. That's the really start for the Mercedes, it looks like, in the background. as one of the Red Bulls just don't go anywhere. On the run down, we nearly lost out to the Haas as well, but I think I just blocked them off just in time. Then you see coming through turn 2, couldn't really turn in due to the Alfa Romeo being there. So we initially lose the place to a Renault, which of course, as you saw, we gained back into turn number 4. A couple of laps later then for the safety car restart. We're still in P4, so no one pitted on lap 1, kind of a smart thing to do. These tyres can easily go to at least lap 10. As I said, this happened a couple of weeks ago now for me, so I can't actually remember what happened. You can see now Tomasz has gone out in front, so we're going to try and stay with them as usual though. In front of the pack of guys in front of me just drops me completely. I'm always a little bit too scared to go on the power for a safety car restart because my rear tyres are usually ice cold. As I come down into turn 1, you can see there Liam, he's just sort of eyeing up to the left of the place. I think at this point he knows he can at least make a move on me. So he got a better restart, as close to me even I was to Calderago a step ahead. As we come around to the cover, Grande up towards the second chicane, now into turn 4. Once again, Liam is just there. He backs off again though into there. I think just to avoid any damage. We're jumping now forwards to lap 5, so a lap later we're right up behind the Alfa Romeo. We head down towards Ascari. We have gapped Liam just a little bit, but he's still there. You know, you can still see that Renault Calderago makes a mistake on the exit of Ascari. To which we just power on through there, use the lack of Ferrari power, but luckily he has the same engine as us. Doesn't entirely matter. And coming into the Parabolica, Liam just trying a little bit of a move. So that is placed on for us. There was a really weird sound there when I went over the curb. I actually thought at the time I just lost control of the car. So I went I ran not wide, but I used all the track for the Parabolica. I think the underfloor of my car just skimmed a slightly raised bit of track. It made a really weird scraping noise. Now jumping onto the next lap, this is now the end of lap 6, was heading down towards turn 11. Still in P3, we have now gapped Liam, who's gotten past Powdy. Behind Yaichmar's retired from the session, he's lost it at the Ascari chicane, and that brings out the second safety car of the race here on lap 6, to which we decide to dive into the pit lane. You see Jeff suggesting a new strategy, but it is too late for that. It was a very late call to come into the pits, but I did want to stay on the medium compounder tyre. I think we get held for about a millisecond there before we're back out mediums now on the car with the intention to go to the end. Of course, safety car on lap 6, you're going to be released about lap 9. And I was going to pit lap 10, so it's just a 1 lap extension. As you can see, they were going to be released on lap 8, so we've got to do 2 extra laps here. It's the original plan. We're currently sitting down up here as well. We very nearly rear-ended Tomasz right there, as you know, sort of a little bit of weaving going, car slowing down, then accelerating. Very annoying and dangerous, especially at this point. This was before Codemasters patched out the illegal overtake glitch, which I think it works now. I haven't seen a situation with it yet. Once again to the Parabolica, a lot of cars sort of going slowly, backing up, all this sort of stuff, which is very annoying, very dangerous. So of course you get an instant 5 seconds time penalty if you make any contact with anyone, or they make contact with you. Once again, I've been gapped a little bit by the guys in front. Liam's staying right up behind me. And that right, head down into turn 1, he brakes very late and has to sort of duck to the inside. Again, I don't think that was intentional for a move there, but from what it looked like, he simply just outbraked himself. Didn't expect everyone to brake earlier ahead of him, so had to just avoid the contact, but luckily didn't affect anything. We see there, just eyeing up Tomasz, we head into turns 4 and 5, everyone backs up ahead of us. So then I take the initiative to try and get it past Tomasz here. We got the inside into Lesmo 1, but there was the slightest of contact. I think I understeered ever so slightly. He turned into me, there was contact. I will tell you now, I was awarded a 5-second time penalty for that by the stewards after the race, which I completely understood. I put my hands up for it, as it was completely my fault. And now on to lap 9, you can see that we've gotten past Zam into Ascari and then to the Parabolica. And we're now eyeing up Adam and Abzi as we head down towards turn 1. We got the Haas on our right, Adam just ahead of us still, as you can see. In that Mercedes, we do brake later than him, get just about alongside. Also both leave space, which is always nice to see. You do have some drivers that will just turn on you, or just run you off track, depending if you're outside or inside. I feel like that was really fair between the two of us. You can see here, Abzi tried to get past Adam, and then just ran out of straight line speed, I think, or just backed out of it. I'm not entirely sure what happened. Of course, I haven't seen his perspective. As now takes us to a little bit later on that lap. You can see we're now on the end of lap 10, heading through the Ascari chicane. He keeps it neat, unlike what Pels did earlier on in the race. So now we're right up behind Adam, heading up towards the Parabolicus, which we've had another car crash. That is Zam.
Safety car, safety car. No
Ascari, and we have safety car number 3 here for the Monza feature race. Adam comes into the pit lane, that brings us up into P4. I think actually everyone comes into the pit lane there ahead of us. They are all guys that started on the mediums, so of course they hadn't pitted yet. Well, I'm going to stay out now, of course, as I said. I'm going to the end, at least that's the intention.
Pass it. You are the leader. Follow the safety car.
Let's go through the first chicane. Now, I was actually messaging in the Discord at this point. I was apologising to Tomasz. Because obviously, you know, it's not nice to get taken out by someone. I have been there a couple of times. Luckily not too many, but these things happen.
Safety car is in this lap.
So we now have the honours of controlling the pace.
On the restart. Keep it steady until
All the guys behind me, at least the closest 4, all have hard tyres on, so at this point I'm thinking my tyres are going to warm up faster. And then from there, all I need to do is pull away. Yeah, my sole intention. I had a slight feeling I'd get a penalty for the incident with Tomasz at Lesmo 1, so I knew I had to bring a gap of some kind here. You see, just waiting really long here to go, just kind of waiting, trying to see if I can catch anyone out. As now we finally go a little bit of oversteer as we smash down the power.
We're leading our teammate,
but it doesn't really result in too much. You can see Abzi still right there, sort of weaving around a little bit, trying to find a gap. We then outbrake ourselves into turn 1, but we do keep it on the track. Just about, may I add as well. We're very tight indeed. But we do get out of turn 2. Still leading the race. Now we head through turn 3 towards turn 4 again. If Abzi was going to attack me, he would have done it here. But again, not quite close enough. I do go a little bit defensive just to avoid any sort of dive bomb, because that wouldn't have been nice. So I have to try and defend that. But now you can see we've dropped Bradley already in that Haas. And now jumping forward to lap 20, so we have just pulled away as intended. You can see now 4.5 seconds backwards to Abzi. And then Kieran on the mediums was actually a really good pace at this point. And also right then, when Liam retired, I was like, no, please, not another safety car. Because I wouldn't have been able to pull the gap again. Also, I had gone past the pit lane, so I couldn't have pitted for soft tyres. Luckily, it was only a VSC, so I got a little bit safe there. But this gap, I think, I don't know if I did yet or not, but it did go up to about 6 seconds, 6-7 seconds. And then kind of came back down, sort of went up and down around that point. Sort of, you know, whatever it really wanted to do. I think Abzi found a little bit of pace at some points. And then I found a little bit more pace at other points. Of course, his tyres are going to be better at the end of the race. But of course, they're still only hards compared to my mediums. So I knew I didn't really have too much to worry about. You see, still waiting for this VSC to end.
Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until
as we just try and time the delta right. It can be very easy to just mistime it. So we had about 3 tenths in hand there. A little bit cautious into Ascari as the tyres aren't going to be quite up to temperature. And then back onto the push. Trying to get back up to a decent sized gap. Then onto the final lap and the final sector. You can see the gap is now 6 seconds back to Abzi. Kieran, I think, had a couple of attempts at getting past. I don't think he did in the end. So he's the McLaren settled for P3. But this is quite a fun race. Obviously, we had a couple of incidents You see there the tyres not in the best of conditions, left rear 62%. But we come up to the line to take yet another win of the season. I think this was win number 8, I want to say, not going to say too convincingly. I think that was number 8. Jesse handed the if I can speak, the trophy for the top step of the podium, joined by a Haas and a Mercedes. So Kieran had a penalty. By the looks of things, you can see there he did end up in P4 with 9 seconds of penalties. Okay, of course the track is quite difficult to avoid penalties. You can see there James W finishing in P8, so that kind of sucked. But oh well. Jumping on to the sprint race now. Of course, this race was the reason this video was like 2 weeks late. This race actually happened last week, whereas the feature race that you just saw happened 2 weeks ago. Normally they happen in the same week, but something came up for the league owner, so that they couldn't possibly go ahead. But we're back now. It is a wet start to Monza. We're starting P13 or 14. And we're away for the Italian Grand Prix Sprint Race Edition. 13 laps this time around the Temple of Speed. You can see a really start for Adam there, absolutely flying down to the first corner. We're very cautious indeed. You can see Kieran braking on the grass as well. I try and go around the outside of Adam here, but then get blocked by Gogs and Kieran. And then of course we have Mikey on our outside there, so we can't really do anything. So Adam gets us back. One of the things you'll see with this, every time I found a gap, I then got blocked, so I couldn't make the move. You can see here we go try again up the inside here into turn 4 of Mikey, but then Adam tries to send it around the outside, so we can't do anything there. We then have a car on our inside. I believe that is Bradley. Being very opportunistic there, trying to sneak up past us, but can't do anything there. And then once again we're forced to take the outside line through Lesmo 1, so we stick it back up the inside. And then once again into Lesmo 2. Again, he's just there, I can't do anything about it. And then he gets a better run out of the corner as well, and Rizanowski also bounces around us. Which now puts us down into P14, so what could have been possibly a top 10 at this point. We're now still at the back. This is side by side there for Rizanowski. I did want to outbrake him there. I just knew if I was going to make any progress in this race, I had to be a little bit assertive. Also, as you always have to do in these sprint races, the races are much shorter, or they're half shorter. Or half as short, half as long, I guess, if I can find the right phrase. So that was lap 1. I believe I have 4 laps uncut for this bit, as it was just so much sort of back and forth with other guys. You can see trying to catch up to now to the guys that we lost out to. Just ahead of us. Massive train. Little snap of oversteer as well into turn 1, which is always horrible. For a little front wing there. Looked like it was McLaren coloured. A little bit of contact there as well with Rizanowski. And we're now back down to P14. We try and get him back as well around the outside of turn 3. Again, using a little bit more battery than I would normally like to, but again, as I said, I have to make these moves count. We do lock up as well then into turn 4, which kind of forces him to not be able to come back at me. So a little bit overly aggressive, but still fine. There you can see the guys ahead going side by side. A little bit scary when you physically can't see the cars, because I can see all their name tags, but through the rain it just makes visibility extremely difficult. But you crack on as always. You're actually heading up to Ascari. I wanted to get past Kieran before, because I believe it is him that had damage. As you can see, we have a little look to the inside, nothing going. Liam's there off into the wall once more. I don't believe he's retired at this stage. You can see on the exit then a much better run than Kieran got on the exit. So we duck out to the inside and make the move on him. It's now up into P11 as we brake much later than him, of course. McLaren with the lack of front wing is going to be a little bit difficult to drive, especially around here with the corners that there are. Heading now on to lap 3, you can see we're asking about weather. Of course, I have no idea of weather. I can see it's raining, but how long it's going to last, only Jeff doesn't know. See then through turn 1 and 2 once again, a little bit blocked by cars in front. Luckily Rizanowski was not close enough this time around to make any sort of move, but we are right behind Bradley as we head through turn 3. And then he just has so much better straight line speed than me. So then coming into turn 4, I put my car on the inside just to try and scare him. Didn't work. As then Adam gets a little bit of a tap. And then Bradley as well gets backed off, and I get slowed down a little bit. And then Rezanovsky, as the sportsman that he is, doesn't overtake me there. I mean, I would have been fine. Well, I would have been annoyed if he got past, but it's racing, isn't it? You take the gaps you can get. He didn't take that gap, which obviously is his choice, but fair play to him. As it would have been a little bit unfair, but of course that is just what racing is. Sometimes it is unfair, you have to just deal with it, put your head down, and keep pushing on. So on the exit of Ascari on lap 3, you can see Bradley and Adam nearly going side by side there as we head up towards Parabolica. We're a little bit too far behind to try anything at this point. But then on turn in, Bradley goes massively deep, so we get past him. And now we're right behind Adam as well, as we exit the Parabolic heading down towards the first corner. See what we can do. Massive overspeed on Adam this time, unlike what we had on Bradley. Duck to the outside, same as we did in the feature race. But this time we're past before the braking zone. And then he just slots in behind. We actually hit the braking zone, which is, you know, lucky. I don't normally hit those. As we get the first cuts then off the sprint race here. You can see this is a replay of the start. This time I'm the Ferrari right down at the back there. So my teammate on the second row. Actually, I think finishing P12 in the sprint race. Which of course is still a point. You got the fast lap as well, which of course helps out. Down this turn 1, you can just see cars braking on the grass, everything going on. You can see we do get fully ahead of Adam. And then we just have absolutely nowhere to go, and he just gets a better exit. Of course, I was blocked by multiple cars there, but as I said many times in the last minute or so, that's racing. You know, these things happen. Can't really control it. And then this is a move on to Kieran. So this was on lap 1, I think? No, lap 2. To conduct to the inside, and then the move onto Adam down towards turn 1 on lap 4. Again, just having a little bit more overspeed, nothing he can really do. Just on me at that point. It's now on to lap 5, so the end of lap 4 we set the fast lap of the race. And later on that lap we catch up to the back of Mikey heading through Ascari. Well, just trying to make my way up as quickly as I can after the slow start. But it's quite nice to have actually battle cars. Well, South, but I've had a couple races recently, not in this league. We've had a couple others that I've just been by myself for like 30 odd laps, which can get a little bit boring. So it's nice to actually battle cars for once. Thomas driving to the pit lane now. I don't really know why, but you see Anton also in the pits, my teammate. Apparently Jeff told him it was time for slicks. Which I was wondering if he had damaged or not, because I was thinking this is not slick conditions yet. Down this turn 1, you can see there Mikey gets out of the way nicely. Doesn't really fight me, which again I appreciate. I think he knows I was quicker than him at this stage. That's now on to lap 8, right up behind Gogs and JD. Heading through the Ascari chicane, and then on the exit. You can see overtaking Rich deployed as well. We are catching up to the back of JD's. We duck out to the inside. Heading up towards the Parabolica again. Nothing more much he can really do. He does try and fight it. We break about the same point. As we get a little bit sideways, a little bit of a drift there, or should we overtake, just for the cameras really. And heading down to pursue the next car. Replay of that on your screens now. You can see his red light flashing a little bit. So he was saving battery the entire time, whereas mine wasn't for most of it. Deploying pretty much everything I got just to make the move. And then you don't quite get a chance to see the slide bit, but the replay didn't catch that. On to lap 9, then to 1 lap later we go to the outside of Gogs heading up towards the Parabolica. He backs out of that one, which again, very, very nice of him to do. You know, just not... Drivers that know they're beaten are the best guys to come up against because you don't lose as much time. It's the drivers, again, I have come across some of them, like they know they're going to lose the place and yet they still fight you for so long, just costing you both a lot of time. We're heading on to lap 10 as we come into the pit lane. You can see Zam brakes very early. And, well, you still have it on your screen. We drive straight into the pit wall. Of course, the inter tyres are going off a little bit at this point. They've been on for a while. Luckily, the game changed the front wing, or this could have been a very boring last couple of laps. And you can see, just to make matters worse, we get blocked by the Red Bull, so we lose even more time.
Exit now. We're racing on the
And
exit.
yeah,
Go, go, go.
completely my mistake. It was either hit the back of the Williams or hit the wall. I chose not to hit the guy because you know, he would have got a time penalty for
Pit
speeding into the
strategy
pits,
complete.
which to be honest he might have got removed afterwards. But all was good. You know, I laughed about it pretty much straight away. Now on to the lap 13, the final lap of the race. Gogs completely moves over, which again I didn't really understand, but again appreciated. I did mention afterwards, or at least I just said in the general Discord. I was like, why? Why? You know, it's the last lap. You're fighting for P5, but apparently he was severely managing fuel, whereas I was going for the fastest lap. So completely two different races. You can see as well, I'm right on my limit. It looks like a qualifying lap here, but it isn't. I'll tell you, the track was still a little bit slippery. As we head up to the line, we do take that fastest lap, 1:22.3 on the final lap of the race. But I definitely threw away a podium with hitting the wall there. Again, quite a few drivers getting time penalties, which again is easy to do here, especially when it rains, because you want to find more time than is possible. Anton as well picking up a point down in P10, which is always nice to see. Helps the constructors as well, but with Williams finishing second and third, doesn't really help us much. But you know, every point matters. That's all that matters in the end. But that will be it for this video. Hope you have enjoyed. Do leave a like and subscribe as well. It helps me out massively. And also, when we're subscribing, you know, it is free, so you can always change your mind afterwards. But you know, it does help me out for the period of time that you do decide it's a good idea. But that will be it. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you next time. Hopefully tomorrow, but I'm not promising anything. With the next one. See you then.